It seems that there are so many things in a human being's life that are fun when we do them, but these things are usually not good for us. And I'm talking about alcohol, drugs, food. Many of the habits that we have that we partake in daily or on a weekly basis, that just they're not doing you any favors. And I happen to have given up a lot of those things recently. Cigarette smoking, 13 years ago, I quit. Just when it's time to quit when you're driving down the road and you cough so hard you pass out briefly and almost, take out five other cars. Then I knew it was time. I threw them out the window, and that was it for cigarettes. But I picked up another habit with nicotine. We're working on that. Alcohol is something I've always done. I think as early as 13 years old is when I first started experimenting with alcohol. And then by the time I was in the Army at, 17 years old, I enjoyed it. Okay. And that stayed as part of my life till 15 months ago when I took my last drink. I just woke up one morning, the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. And I knew that was the cause. If not the cause, it was a big part of it. And so I gave it up. And then soon after that, started eating right, dropped a whole bunch of weight. And my life it's changed. I'm a lot happier. And a lot of people don't quit things for fear of how boring their life might become. And let me tell you, it's the exact opposite of that. Because my life is anything but boring. If anything, I'm more in tune with life. I'm more aware of what's going around. Now, I wasn't the guy that was hiding the vodka bottles in the toilet tank. I wasn't that. I was bad enough. Okay. I usually had alcohol in the house all the time. If it was here, I drank it. I started out with beer, drank beer all the way up until 2018. And then, if you're a lifelong beer drinker, the older you get, the more beer you're consuming. My gosh, I was getting 2 30-packs a week and could drink those in a weekend if I had, wanted to. And it was just loading the weight on me. And I knew that was it. I just felt like crap, All my medical problems I was having was because of probably beer and alcohol and everything else I was doing. So I gave up beer in 2018. I drank it maybe 2 or 3 times after that, just because I like the taste of beer, and And then I'd go to whiskey, which is worse. And usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, and then it'd be gone, and I wouldn't go to the liquor store again till the next following Friday. But it just became a habit, and habits that are formed over decades they're hard to break. And I don't think it's so much addiction as I think it's you're used to a certain routine. You're having fun. You think you're having fun, and you don't want that to end. There does come a point when you're aging that if you continue on that path, you're not going to age much more. And I just wanted to feel better. It was just getting bad. And so it's been 15 months now. I think, the end of February in 24 was the last drink I had. So close, 15 months? I have not touched a drop of it. Don't plan to. I don't even think about it anymore. I never really did think about it. I just knew it was something I had to do, and it was time to do it. And I did it. And, it was something I should have done many, many years before because, alcohol, nobody wants to be around somebody like that. Nobody. Nobody wants, you wonder why if you're a drinker and you get drunk or you're drinking, you're feeling good, you're going to call somebody. Well, then people know that you're drinking. They're not going to answer because nobody wants to talk to somebody that's drunk or drinking. You're just not on the same wavelength as somebody that's sober. And I realize that, I realize that now. I actually, I'm not stupid. I realized it then. But then you would call the friends that you knew were also drinking at that time, and then you didn't remember nothing you talked about a week later. But most of them guys that I talked to, they're gone. They're dead now. And for some reason, I lucked out. But I don't think you're ever too old to quit. Now, if I heard there was a meteorite speeding towards Earth and it was going to be here in 2 days and blow us all up, hell yeah, I'm going to go to the liquor store. I'm going to get me a pack of cigarettes and I'm going to have some fun. But my luck would be it missed us, But other than that, I have no desire to touch any of that stuff again. And also gave up eating all the garbage foods that most of us eat. And then after, it's going on 13, 14 months for that. After seeing how I feel now and how much weight I've lost, I will never eat like that again. Because the rest of the years I have, may it be 10, 20, 30 if I'm lucky, I want to feel good. I don't want to be that guy that has the Afghan over his lap that they wheel off in the corner by the window in the nursing home. I don't want to be that guy. Okay? I want to go out fighting. But I think addictions are 90% in our head. Now, I can't speak for drug addictions. I've never dabbled in them. I tried marijuana maybe the most 4 times in my life. I couldn't stand how it made me feel. I just didn't like it and never tried anything else. So I can't sit here and tell you about drug addiction. From what I see nowadays, it looks pretty bad. And I just can't understand why some of these young guys that you see on these YouTube videos are all out on the street and doing that fentanyl stuff. Why they got to have at least one sober moment where they got to think to themselves, man, I got to get off this. But I guess the addiction is too bad. And some of them, they're goners. There's no fixing them. But as far as alcohol, cigarettes, things like that, you can beat that. I think it's in your head most of the time. I never, ever was the kind of drinker that I would get the shakes if I didn't have a drink. I never let it get to that point. I mostly did it just for fun, just to party, but then when you get older, it was like, I think about 2008 or 2009, because I used to go to the bars all the time. That was no longer fun to me. I'd stay home. I wouldn't go to the bars anymore, the nightclubs, none of that stuff, I'm getting to be in my 40s, 50s. You don't go to, you don't see very many guys that age in a bar, maybe the old neighborhood bars, but it wasn't fun to me. Because number one, the music they play now, I don't want to listen to that garbage. And even the country music today is garbage, the new country. I can't stand it. I like the old stuff, the old rock, the old country. I can't handle that new stuff. And that's what they play. Well, I don't want to listen to it. Plus, I don't want to watch all the nonsense that goes on in one of them places now. I never minded sitting in like the neighborhood type bar after work for a couple of drinks and then you go home. I wouldn't even probably mind doing that today, but where I live, there is the nearest bar to where I live is an hour away. And you can't do that. I ain't drinking anymore anyway. But I haven't done that the whole time I've lived here. I certainly wouldn't start now. But as I say, I think it's all, I think if it gets to the point where your body is requiring that of you, then you're in pretty bad shape. And you should have got help a long time ago. But I'm just telling you my experience. I don't need any pats on my back for quitting the alcohol, because I should have never been doing it to the extent that I was. And I'm not condemning alcohol, people that drink alcohol. I mean, socially go out and have a few, but I was not one of them guys that could have 2 beers or 2 drinks and be done. I had to drink until I was feeling good, or it was gone. And if you can do that, there's nothing wrong with it. Right now, I'm just choosing to have none of it, abstain from it 100%. I don't think I'll ever pick it up again. The places that served alcohol and that I used to go, I don't go to them places anyway. I used to go to casinos. I have no desire to go to casinos. And that is an addiction as well. I dabbled in that for a while. It's been a long time since I've been in any casino, and they're within an hour from here. I don't want to waste my money on something like that. But to me, that would be the worst place to go, because you got alcohol in there, you got cigarette smoke in there. I don't want to breathe cigarette smoke. I don't want to smell that. I don't want to smell the alcohol. I don't want to see people drinking. It's just not my type of an environment. So I think if you've made up your mind that you would like to quit something, you need to make sure that you are in the right environment to do so. It's going to be pretty hard to quit drinking if you're living in a house full of alcoholics. It's also going to be hard to eat the right foods if you're living in a house full of people that are eating the wrong foods. So some of them situations you may not be able to fix. That means you got to be even stronger to resist the urge. And I've had the opportunity. I've lived out here by myself for years, and I've always had the opportunity to be away from all that. And so now I am. It's great. I haven't felt better in probably my entire adult life. At 59 years old, that's a shame that I have to say that. But no more waking up with, you drink to a point you don't get hangovers anymore. I was there, but you still feel bad. Your body is not functioning at peak level that it should, and you're poisoning your body. But whole object of this video is just to say, if it's something you're looking to do, or whether lose weight, quit drinking, and I did it drinking and the weight loss all at once, because you can't lose weight if you're still drinking. You might be able to, but it's going to be very hard, especially if you're drinking beer. So you're going to have to give that up too. So why not do it all at once? It worked for me. It may not work for everyone else, but it worked for me. That's just how I did it. And anybody that is thinking of losing weight or giving up addictions, it can be done. And your body can recover a lot of the losses that it's faced, that you've put on it. If you've damaged your kidneys, start eating the right foods. I think a lot of that will your body is very intelligent. It can repair itself to an extent. Now, you're not going to recover from things that are damaged beyond repair, but a lot of your organs have the capability to repair itself. Your kidneys, your liver, and I can't believe I have a normal liver. And I've had all the tests, trust me, over the last 10 years. I've had all the tests, and that scared me more than anything, was that I damaged my liver. And I'm sure I've damaged my kidneys a little bit. It showed up in the last blood work that I had done. which I still got to do a video on to compare, but nothing extraordinary there. Because when I had him done last year, I was already a month into this carnivore, so the readings I would have to go back a couple of years to compare, which I can do, but I just haven't had time to get that going yet. But hey, man, if you're looking to lick something, get a bunch of stamps. Get something. You can beat it. Happy trails.